Now would be a bad time to say that I'm giving up drinking, so I won't. However, welcome to another Wine and Weird Tales extravaganza, where we will be diving headfirst into 1943's tale of otherworldly delights. Probably not, but you know, to some extent. 1943's weird tale, The Eager Dragon, by Robert Bloch. I've read a couple of Robert Bloch stories, and you know, from what I've seen, he's a little hit and miss. But I'm hoping this one will be a hit. I'm sure it will. So, The Eager Dragon by Robert Bloch. Let's begin. I am sitting in Thin Tommy's tavern, and maybe I have a couple too many. This is quite possible because I hear customers say that even one drink of Thin Tommy's whiskey is too many. But I have maybe 5 or 6 in a row, so I get about as high as the national debt. Which is how I happened to get talking to those two strangers. They are sitting down at the other end of the bar, minding their own business, which seems to be liquor importing, if the way they spin the bottle is any indication. Each of them manages to import about 1/5 of scotch down his throat while I watch, and they do not bother with any Emily Post stuff either, such as pouring their drinks into glasses first. I guess that means they drink from the bottle. Now, I am not the type of personality who pries into other people's affairs, particularly in a place like this, where it is not safe to shake hands with strangers unless you have heavy insurance on your fingers. So after gulping my 6th antifreeze, I slide off the stool to go home. I do not intend to speak to these jerks, but one of them turns around and gabbles at me. "I beg your pardon," he says, very polite. "But you have your foot caught in a cuspidor." Is that a shoe? Wait, what? If there is anything I am a sucker for, it's politeness. Besides, when I look down, I see that I have indeed stuck my left foot into one of Thin Tommy's finger bowls. "Thank you for the information," I tell the stranger. "I hardly notice such a thing because I expect to walk a little funny after drinking the stuff they serve here." "It is vile, isn't it?" says the first stranger. "Won't you have another one with me?" Well, who can refuse such courteous invitation? I sit down again and manage to get my Tom McCann out of this cigar pond. And the two strangers pour me a shot. And before you can say Jack Robinson, I am too stinko to... what? I am too stinko to pronounce it. I guess that means he's drunk, but I mean, you would think he's already drunk. Cheers. That is how it happens. I get so gabby, I guess. That is because the first stranger, a tall, skinny guy with glasses, says, "We're a couple of travelling salesmen. We are stranded here miles from the nearest farmer's daughter." Isn't it sad? And the second stranger, a fat, older guy with a bald head, says, "We are working our way through second childhood selling magazines to colleges. Our car breaks down tonight, and here we sit in the country where nothing happened since the last time Halley's Comet went through." Evidently, he refers to some travelling burlesque show, but I am just high enough to resent his crack about nothing ever happening. Actually, but I am just high enough to resent this crack about nothing ever happens. 'Cause good writing and shit. You see, I like it here in the country, ever since I retired from the rackets and buy me a chicken farm. Besides, things are far from peaceful lately on my Cackle Ranch. In fact, what happens to me recently is so screwy I never mention it, but now I am too groggy to keep from leading with my jaw. Nothing ever happens here, I say to the bald-headed guy. Listen, wait, no, nothing ever happens here? I say to the bald-headed guy, listen, I can tell you stories that will make your hair stand on end if you buy a wig. Such as, pipes up the first guy. I may look like a farmer, but I am not handing you any corn, I say. Such as, insists the first guy. You wouldn't believe me, I say. You tell me and I'll believe it, the first guy yells. And everybody in the bar looks at him. Tell me just one thing that ever happens to you around here. Well, about a week ago, I am driving along about a mile down the road and I meet a knight. I begin. A what? A knight from King Arthur's court. Do you sniff the stuff or use a needle? Asks the bald-headed salesman. The tall guy whispers, say, your straitjacket's showing. I tell you, you won't believe me. I reminded them. Go ahead, this is interesting. I meet this knight from King Arthur's court, Sir Palgin, his name is. He tells you his name, why not? Then maybe he also tells you what he's doing and how he got here. Of course, Merlin sent him. Merlin? Merlin is the boss of the Magicians' Union, I explain. He can send his boys forward and backward in time without paying cab fare. He sends Sir Palgin here on a big job, to put the snatch on a pedestal for a loving cup he calls the Holy Grail. Remarks the thin jerk. He is either commenting on my story or strangling on the drink he swallows, so I make with the tongue and some more. I found out this pedestal is a museum back in town. So the knight and I sneak in after dark. We go in easy. Wait, no. We gone easy because Merlin sends some hoods from the Round Table mob to help us. Where is this Palgin now? Asks the balding jerk in a sweet voice. I suppose he is hiding out somewhere so the government can't claim his armour for defence proprieties. I am sorry, I mumble, but when Palgin and his boys get the pedestal they are after, Merlin drags them back through time again, and that is how it stands. It stands kind of wobbly to me, insists the It stands kind of wobbly to me, insists the dandruff victim. When did anyone become a victim of dandruff, is my question. You are wasting your time if you are a chicken farmer. You should be a rodeo star the way you can throw the bull. Because he's a mentiroso. Mentiras. Listen, my fine featherless friend, I remark. If you think you can stand there with your bare head hanging out and call me a liar, you are not only mistaken but probably dead. No offense, buddy, he comes back. Only you got to admit your story is a little hard to believe. I know that, and I'm willing to prove it to you, I say. It so happens that Sir Palgin leaves his glue barrel in my barn back at the farm. It is a big white nag, all covered with... It so happens that Sir Palgin leaves his glue barrel in my barn at the farm. It is a big white nag, all covered with a fancy thin blanket to keep out the flies or something. One look will tell you it isn't any fake, and I am not palming off any Derby winner on you. So I'm assuming that he's saying the night that he met in this small town of his, left a horse back at his barn before he went back to the round table with Merlin. I'm sure the story's going to pick up. I am really third degree burned by all these insinuations. I say nothing of the dirty cracks. I really mean it now when I suggest we all three climb into my truck and ride out to the stable for a look at the horse. Fine idea, says a thin Fink with the glasses. So we all have another drink on that and then we go outside. Man, they must be pissed. This time I do not even notice the cuspidor on my foot until we are way up the road, which gives some idea of how Rico I am. So he is really drunk. And like, is a cuspidor, I think that's like a cigar, right? If anyone knows that, please comment below in the comments. I want to know, what's a cuspidor? Tell me. We climb into the truck and I shrug on the gas. No? We climb into the truck and I shag on the gas, and pretty soon we pull up at my poultry villa. Man, throbbing in the last one, shagging in this one. We're in it for the win. Then I help them out of the truck. Archie Biggers, that's the thin one's name, won't get out without another drink. Larry Cotton, the baldy guy, says if he has another drink, he can't get out. So I compromise and drink it for him. After that, I lead Archie and Larry right to the barn in the back of the house, which is no small job itself, the way they are walking. Now, you'll see if I'm lying or not, I say, rattling the door. The door opens without unlocking, which is funny. I step inside. I light a match. I let out a yell. Bah! Somebody stole my horse. Huh, sports Archie. I thought so. That's a horse on you, says Larry. Don't bother to lock the barn door when you go out. But it's true, I insist. The horse is right here when I leave tonight. Look, here is the hay I put on for it. I hold up the second match and show them the hay pile. Then I lay out another yap and drop to my knees. What's this? I holler, pointing to a big round white thing in the hay pile. Why, a horse egg, of course, sneers Archie. It's an egg all right, I agree, but look at the size of it. Why, it's over 3 feet long. And it is too, a big round white egg with long yellow splotches on it and a smell that is hardly grade A. Wait a minute, Archie says. He stoops down and picks up a piece of greyish paper lying next to the egg. Writing on it, he whispers, in watercolours or something. Can't make it out. Bad spelling. Give it here, I request, grabbing it politely. I am expert on spelling, particularly such spelling as those lousy kidnappers use that put the snatch on my horse. But it's not your horse. Put the snatch on? Sure, this is doubtless a ransom note from the mob stealing my nag. There is nothing I hate and detest more than a horse napper. But it turns out I am mistaken. The writing is some kind of watercolour job, and the spelling is terrific, but I can figure out what the note says. Sir Butch, methinks the excitement. Sir Butch, methinks in the excitement I forgot to send for the steed. I take it now, lest Palgin go unannounced as a churl. Palgin thanks you for your seemly courtesy, and bespeaks right highly your prowess as a wizard. It behooves me, therefore, to tender you this little token out of my esteem as a fitting reward for your assistance. It is a seemly gift from one wizard to another, and may serve you as a reminder of the gratitude of Merlin. This is not only lousy spelling, but lousy grammar. In fact, it reminds me of the way this Sir Palgin talks. Maybe this Merlin is not so much of a brain after all. But what puzzles me is why he sends an egg for a present to a chicken farmer. Me too. Don't ask me, says Larry. I don't even know what kind of an egg it is. It certainly isn't a Plymouth Rock. Looks more like a Plymouth Mountain. I wonder what's inside, I mumble. We can't find out till it hatches. Well, how are we gonna hatch it? Don't ask me, Larry. I don't even know what kind of an egg it is. It certainly isn't a Plymouth Rock. Looks more like a Plymouth Mountain. I wonder what's inside, I mumbled. We can't find out till it hatches. Well, how are we gonna hatch it? It's too big for a chicken to sit on. Something has to sit on it, I tell them. From the looks of it, it should hatch soon. From the smell of it, it better hatch soon, says Archie. I've got an idea, yells Larry. We aren't doing anything tonight. Let's all of us sit on it. All right. You mean we should hatch this egg? Why not? It's warm here. We have to sleep someplace, you know. We might as well curl up in the hay, sleep on the egg, and wait until it breaks open. I want to see what's coming out of here anyway. Me too. Oh my God, where am I up to? So after another drink, it doesn't sound so screwy anymore. Archie lays down on one side of me, and Larry lays down on the other side. All three of us cuddle up to the big white egg with its thick shell. Robert Bloch is kind of cool. Like, this is pretty funny. I'm enjoying this. I close my eyes, and maybe it's only my head throbbing, but I think I hear something pounding away under the eggshell. And maybe it's only the stories of Archie and Larry, but I get the idea. I hear noises inside the egg. And maybe it's only the snores of Archie and Larry, but I get the idea. I hear noises inside the egg. What could be hatched from an egg over 3 feet long? Why, it must weigh a couple of 100 pounds. More than that, who cares? That is how I feel after last drink, so I just go right off to sleep. But all the time I think I hear the egg making noises, and after a while I begin to dream about the kind of things which probably lay such eggs. And I do not like to dream about radio comics. It is pretty late in the morning when I wake up because somebody is shaking me. At first I think it is Archie, but he is asleep. Then I look at Larry, and he is sleeping too. But I am being shaken. My head is going up and down. Then I realize the egg is moving under my head. I jump up, but quick, before I get my neck broken. The egg is cracking in long strips in about a dozen places, and the chunks in between are heaving and falling off. There is no doubt about it now. I do hear noises from under the shell. There is no doubt about my smelling something either. The egg is hatching. By this time, Archie and Larry are awake and on their feet, but I do not watch them. I watch the strips of egg peeling off the egg and watch the green stuff underneath moving up and down. What in the blazes? Asks Archie, hopping up and down on one foot and pointing. What is he pointing? What he is pointing at is a long green thing waving out of the end of the egg. It looks like a snake without a head. We do not answer him, Larry and I, because we are looking at the other end of the egg. There is another green thing sticking out of this end, and it is... My goodness, what is it? And it is the kind of a head nobody would ever forget. even though they would want to forget it very much indeed. Larry points at one end and Archie points at the other, and then both of them point at the middle because the eggshell cracks and we see the thing come out. This story is interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm assuming we all know it's a dragon, as the title of the story suggests. Might leave it here, Might leave it here. Might go away. Might see how much I've already recorded. Might come back. It is past midnight. Got a big bottle of water here. Should drink it. That's good stuff. Fuck it, let's read one more bit, hey? Let's go for gold. It is about 8 feet long and 4 feet high. And how it manages to curl up in a 3-foot egg, I don't know. But then there are a lot of things I don't know about it, and I have a bunch I do not greatly care to find out. What it looks like and what it smells like is enough to hold me for a long, long time. Thin Tommy should tell me, I say. Usually when I drink his whiskey, I expect lizards or snakes, but he should tell me when he switches me to a stronger brand. But I cannot help but give the thing a grandeur. No. But I cannot help but give the thing a gander. We all stand there staring like we saw Dorothy L'Amour stepping out of a sarong instead of that green scaly thing waltzing out of the busted eggshell. Like I say, it is 8 feet long and about 4 feet high. Part of the 8 feet is a snaky-looking tail. Part of it is a fat, beer-barreled body, all covered with warts and scales like a flophouse bum. Ooh. I don't know what that is. Sounds gross. But the biggest and worst part is the steam shovel it uses for a head. It is round and green with big bulging eyes, and practically all the rest is mouth and teeth. It wobbles around on 4 stumpy legs. I wobble around on 2 myself. For some reason I get the impression that this thing is slightly repulsive. In fact, my face gets nearly as green as the one it exhibits. I don't know, it sounds kind of cute. But all at once Larry is pointing at it and jumping up and down like he has just got a double hot foot. I know what it is, he yells. It's a dragon! What's a dragon? I say, glancing down at my trousers to see if the suspenders slip. You don't know what a dragon is? Fucking idiot. That's the dragon. You know, like in the storybooks back in King Arthur's days. The woods are all full of them. This Merlin must think he is paying you a compliment as a wizard when he sends you a dragon's egg. Fuck yeah. Fuck. Sure, that's what it is, says Archie. Come on down out of there. He is talking to me because when he mentions the word dragon, I all of a sudden find myself climbing up the side of the barn to the hay rack. Now I get down real slow because I am not a personality that likes to hurry, particularly when it comes to meeting such things as dragons or hungry tigers or ex-wives. He won't hurt you, Archie argues. He's just a baby. What you want me to do, nurse him? I inquire. I am not of a mind to become a diaper artist for any walking boa constrictors. Furthermore, maybe this doesn't make sense, but it sounds very apt when I say it because right then the dragon walks over to me and begins to rub against my leg. Aww, that's cute. It is just like a kitten, Archie tells me, quite rattling your knees or your brain... No, hang on, wait. It is just like a kitten, Archie tells me, quite rattling your knees or you'll... No, quit rattling your knees or you'll brain it to death. I'm really enjoying this story. I want to read more, but we're going to stop here. This is a good one. It's cute. I like it. And it is definitely a weird tale, and that makes me like it even more. Like I said, Robert Bloch, he's hit, he's miss. This is a hit. That's a hit for me so far. And I love dragons, so that's a big deal too. Alright, so, Archie, Larry, we don't know the guy's name, but there's a dragon now. The dragon is hatched. Merlin sent him a dragon. That's kind of cool. Is this their drunken imagination? Is this a collective drunken imagination? We don't know. I hope not. I doubt it. So, either way, it's good. So as you can maybe hear in the background, it's kind of died off now. But there's been a lot of bang, 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 because it's muscletard, and I think that's how you pronounce it. No, it is embarrassing if it's not. Which is this bangers thing that happens once, well, and by once a year I mean for like about, a month, 2 months straight. Starting now. Sometimes it goes till 4 in the morning, which is, that's okay, that's whatever. But it becomes very high noon, Wild West out there. So if you've been hearing some banging, that's what that is. We have fun. We have fun in this city. It's good. And it's leading up to... It's so good when the camera just, cuts out while you're in the middle of talking. Anyway, as I was saying, if you're hearing the bangers, it's muscletard, and we're leading up to Oqueras, which is a really wonderful thing they do here. It's bonfires, but what they do is they build enormous painted statues out of flammable materials, and one night they burn them all. But it's fantastic. I'll be going around the city and I'll be taking lots of pictures of them and posting them for all the world to see, as I do each year since moving here. So it's really great. We actually have one on my street. There'll be one. Each district has one. It's really good stuff. So looking forward to that. I love this story, like I just said. I can't wait to read you more. I'll probably do that tomorrow night.